Welcome to Takes Invest. We're talking about investing, finance, and professional development. As the recording time of 8:42 a.m. on Eastern Time, Ethereum could trade $3,022, down about 3.28% so far. As you can see clearly on the crypto market and the equity market, we are relatively more on the bearish side of the spectrum. As you know, based on the collective observations on a macro perspective front, there were a couple of factors that are up in the air that we have been keeping tabs, right? And just to recap on what's been happening recently, number one, with respect to the mints that came out from the Fed on the latest FOMC meeting that happened, it seems like the depiction is still the same. It's going to be interest hikes that's expected to happen in March. And it's going to be allocated approximately 4 to 7 based on Wall Street expectation. So I think the next one that should technically happening in proximity would be somewhere around the next FOMC meeting, somewhere around like early couple weeks until mid-March, right? So that's the first one. The second one is with respect to obviously the Ukraine-Russian war. Seems like it's still percolating. We got some mixed signal across the board. 2 days ago, we thought that the war was subsiding with the agreement between the president of Russia and Ukraine. But seems like that was a type of a false media signal. But seems like they are actually still beefing up the defense force. So this is kind of a question mark at the moment, still up in the air. And then the third one is with respect to the consumer spending numbers that came out. Seems like it knocked out the park. That was a positive one. So all of that happened yesterday, or the last 48 hours so far, driving kind of a mixed signal, right? And what are some of the foreshadow perspective to understand? Well, no, today is the Thursday, so we still, not almost there to the weekend affectation. But on the US front, we know that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday are gonna be some sort of like a holiday / weekend affectation. Why am I saying Monday? Monday is the President's Day, right? For those that live in the US. So technically, the US equity market is gonna be closed on that day. So we could technically see some sort of a sell-off, as people are shifting towards a longer weekend, if you may. So something to look out for. So let's just dive into technical analysis to see what are the foreshadow momentum going forward. Seems like across the board, there is a, I would say on a preliminary perspective, bearish pattern across the crypto market as we see in front of us right now. So, respective recording time of 8:45 a.m. on Eastern Time, Ethereum contract $3,018, about 3.4% so far. Right now, you can see that clearly we are trying to form a cup and handle. If we do not form a cup and handle, we will form technically a head and shoulder. So this is a head, this is the shoulder, this technically is a shoulder. And with respect to uncertainty around the market right now, we have a high propensity to go down to the 2,850 if we break. Right now, we're levitating, right? So we broke firstly the 3,158, secondly the 3,050, which is not a real level. And obviously, as you break down 3,050, you have a high propensity to break below 3,000, which I believe we're going to linger around for that a little bit because 3,000 is like an easy number for people to buy it. And technically, if we break that, we're going to go down to the 2,853. So technically, that will be a dip, right? And why am I saying that also is a possible momentum coming? Is because of the fact that the MACD is already on top of the signal line. We're about to cross down. At the same time, we're relatively overbought at 51 out of 70. So negative, negative, negative in terms of the three charts, indicating that there should be technically some selling pressure coming for Ethereum. And I think the weekend affectation combined with the uncertainty in, with respect to the factors identified so far makes sense. And I think we're seeing it happening in front of our eyes right now. And with respect to Bitcoin, we try to form a cup and handle, but obviously right now, if the line on the signal and the MACD was reversed, and at the same time the RSI was lower, I would have more confidence in terms of buying in, because that means that is a cup and handle, and you will be incentivized to pump up even further. But right now we're on the opposite side of the spectrum, right? Negative, negative. Relatively negative. This was try to form a cup and handle, but we couldn't. So still negative on this side as well. Just speaking technically, right? I'm not trying to stir the market. I'm just saying, the numbers checks out here. Dogecoin, right now it seems like a head and shoulder pattern. Head, shoulder, shoulder. We are on top on the MACD front. 45 out of 70, so about to cross down. So I would buy somewhere around like 13.50 all the way to 12 cents from here. Cardano's down about close to 2.5%. Same thing, head and shoulder. 102 to 92 from here. That's why we're buying it right now. I don't think Cardano is going to sell off significantly because we're relatively at the lower echelon, relatively depleted as well. Solana's at 97 right now. We broke 100. And right now the 47 out of 70 about to cross down, so I guess anywhere from basically 95 all the way to 80, which is where I would be building on my position. So look out for the buy sell signal on Patreon coming. XRP is down about 0.9%. This seems like a broken cup and handle that we try to get to. So right now we are very dragged up at the same time. I don't like this at all on a MACD front. We are relatively overbought at 56 out of 70, so a sell-off is definitely going to be coming, and I think I have a high certainty on XRP, and I would not touch this until we come back down to 60 all the way to 57, so that's a relatively sizable sell-off just based on a technical. Polkadot's down about 2.5% at 1876 right now. I like anywhere from basically a little bit lower, like at 1825 all the way to 1587 from here. ALGORAND's down about 3%, 93 cents at the moment. I like anywhere from basically 90 all the way to 79 from here. Shiba Inu's at the low 2000s. Again, I don't like this at all. Relatively large separation. 60 out of 70. Broken cup and handle. Large gap that needs to be filled. Absolutely not. Low 2000s, 1400, 900 from here. MACTAC is down about 4.23%, 143 to 120. That's where I would be playing at. 50 out of 70, cross down, bearish as well. This is like a mini head and shoulder as well, so that's a negative sign as well. AVAX down about 5%. This is a cup and handle that's formed. So AVAX could technically see some surge coming. I wouldn't be surprised because we have formed a cup, we form a handle. We will sell down, and I know some people is going to buy in at this level, and next thing you know, you're going to jerk up. But is it going to be a major jerk up? I would say not really, because we're relatively overbought already. So a pump for AVAX is actually, it's possible. It's actually looking like it's about to happen. It seems like AVAX is trading on a relatively different momentum as well. So quite interesting. Luna, 62.52 to 45 from here. Right now is okay. Again, right, mediocre, 46 out of 70. We are not as dragged up, so it's a little bit less volatile compared to other coins, but it's not the best, right? So I would place anywhere from like 52 all the way to 45 from here. So across the board, obviously, relatively not the most positive signals, like, you know, because of uncertainty, the weekend affectation, the interest hikes that's still kind of percolating. And we don't really have a lot of confirmatory signals across the board for a lot of things right now. So definitely, you know, not the most, I guess, clear-minded perspective that we're getting across the spectrum. But ultimately, we can look into the frames by dollar cost averaging wisely and using quantitative and technicals to decipher our execution, right? So hopefully that, you know, the Patreon that I'm working on, obviously that I post twice a day is helpful, and obviously the work that I do on YouTube here is helpful. And let me know if you have any questions, and I'm happy to, you know, be responsive when I can. All right, have a good Thursday. Take care.